Hey YouTube, this is Lachlan from Pareidolon here. I was just looking through my computer today and found a whole bunch of old files that I made when I was writing Modern Romance, the second song, I believe, from, no, third song, yeah, from our album. And yeah, it was just really interesting to me seeing where it started and how it ended up. And I thought maybe that might be interesting to some people, and thought of making this video, sort of showing little clips of each version of the song as it went along. Back when I started writing it, I think 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't know. It was the first song idea I had when I was in school. So yeah, I don't know. I might do this with some of the other songs too, if I can find older versions of them. But yeah, we'll have to see how this one goes, if I can make it work, and if anyone enjoys it. Alright, so the origins of this song started when I was just messing around on Sibelius, I think, during my first or second week of school. I had no idea how to use it. I was just going around. For anyone that doesn't know, Sibelius is a virtual music notation program. You can just, it shows a little staff paper, like a Word document, but you put notes in it, and you can play it back and hear whatever you've written down played with awfully sounding virtual instruments, and it's pretty terrible. And yeah, so I was just messing around on that. I put in a stupid bass line that was just super basic because I'd only actually been playing bass for about a month, and I didn't actually know how to play it that well to be able to record it. So I used the computer, and I threw in some really simple bad sounding drums and weird chords that I don't know what I was thinking when I put those in there, but yeah, anyway, it sounds really bad, but this was the first idea that I ever had in music school, so it kind of stuck with me, and I thought, you know what, one day I'm going to make this good, and I mean, in my opinion, I did, so yeah, this is what it sounded like. Yeah, so after that, I don't know, listened to it a bunch of times, tried to think about where I could take it. I didn't really have any ideas. Then I think in my our basic keyboard class, because I mean, you gotta understand, I knew nothing about music here. Like, I played guitar for a while, power chords and metal and all that. So they introduced me to the concept of triads, and I was like, so I was playing around with those on the keyboard with some really obnoxious synthesizers because I like that kind of thing. And I found this power chord on a piano, just root fifth octave, and bouncing between them, and then I threw a fourth in there, and that came up with the main little keyboard riff for the song that sort of informed how the rest of the song was going to go, though I didn't really know it yet. And yes, then I recorded a really quick 1 bar loop of the bass because I couldn't actually play what I had written on Sibelius, even though it was like 3 notes. So I just looped that over and over again, and still virtual drums, but with like a virtual instrument this time rather than just Sibelius. So we're getting up there, learning how to do things. And yeah, this basically was the start of the actual song, with the intro, and the feel of it started to come out. Yeah, and I think I started putting some guitars in here, pretty sure. was wrong, actually. This next one is where the guitars come in. Yeah, really simple, one little string going and yeah, this one also expanded into a verse with thrown in some good old organ, dirty sort of rock organ, and it gave what I thought at the time was going to be a chorus, which ended up being the pre-chorus, a very basic version of that. And yeah, other than that, it builds off the recordings of the other ones, so still mostly bass loop, just with extra instruments and extra parts, just expanding more. The beginning of the song. I started thinking about where I wanted to take it lyrically, sort of thematically, and then sort of on cue, this was in my second year of school, so this is really, like, we're talking, that little bit took me a long time to figure out. So yeah, in my second year for one of our songwriting class projects, we had to write just a chorus, and we had to try and make it catchy. So yeah, I started thinking about, with the last one, I had named it Hands to Yourself, I believe, and it was going to be, I was thinking about making a song about, I think it was abuse towards women, and it was going to be sort of a light pop song with heavy-hitting lyrics. And then when we wrote this chorus, it was somewhat detached, and I thought, you know what, I could actually make that work with that other song, because they were actually sounding very similar, because I was so original. And then the lyrics I had written for that were actually supposed to be about some of the struggles that gay people go through with their families, who aren't always accepting. And I have a lot of friends who were going through things like that at that time, so I thought, you know what, I could write about that and switch the subject a little bit, but have a similar sort of message. And it turned out that I just was awful at writing lyrics. So they came off really heavy-handed, and I just hated it. It was just so bad. These were also like the second set of lyrics I'd ever written, and it was just for a chorus on its own, and I never progressed any further than that because I just couldn't listen to it. It was bad. So yeah, try not to judge these too much. I also changed the name from Hands to Yourself to Change Today, which is a super cheesy, awful title, which I kind of thought fit the theme of the song musically because it's really cheesy, but it was too cheesy, didn't like it. So yeah.
The world outside can be cruel and sadistic, and your home can become hostile and vicious if you overcome that and do things your way. You just might make a difference and change today.
Yeah, so that was that. Seriously, don't hold that against me. I'm sorry. Okay, so this next one is basically the finished song. I didn't do a whole lot of, it was pretty quick from when that chorus was written to when I actually had to finish the song for another project in the same class. maybe a couple weeks. So I just sort of worked really hard on it, fleshed out the form. I wrote a whole new set of lyrics for it. This time I changed it to still be sort of similar to the last theme, except not, like I said, not really similar at all. It's just about gay stuff still. But I thought, you know what, this song just doesn't fit dark lyrics, and I can't write lyrics like this. They come off just awful. So I thought maybe I can write sort of amusing lyrics, but still sort of keep it along the same lines of acceptance and things like that. So I wrote this other set of lyrics where a girl singer singing about another woman, and the lyrics are sort of tongue-in-cheek, just kind of fun and happy. But the idea was to still not really make a big point of the fact that it's a song about two women together. It was just supposed to sort of be a normal song that when you listen to it, you wouldn't really notice right off the bat. And then if you listen to the words, you'd be like, oh yeah, cool. So that was the hope. I hope that worked. But this first version, when I first finished it for the song, I had lost the recording of the stuff I was working on before. So I had to re-record the whole thing, and this time, I mean, this is 2 years later, so I was much better at playing now. Still not great, but better. And so I recorded the whole thing, no loops or anything. That's actually me playing the instruments this time. And I got my friend Antoinette to sing it, sort of last minute, because I had working on the song so long, I didn't think about who was going to sing it, and then she happened to have like a free hour, so we went down to the studio and recorded that within that hour, and I edited it together and handed it in 15 minutes before it was due, I think. So yeah, this is pretty close to the final version, except that I recorded it too slow, and yeah, I tweaked little things later on, but for the most part, I was pretty happy with this one. It was the class. Was this the? I believe this was the final project. We had to take a song that we had worked on earlier and do an alternate version of it, with like a completely different genre kind of thing. So I took this one because it was my easiest song that I'd written at the time. I think it still is, potentially. Except for Abducted. Yeah. So, I decided what would be the complete opposite of this is if I just went completely electronic, used no instruments whatsoever, real ones, just did the whole thing with synths, and yeah, I got Antoinette back again to sing on this one, and I decided since this one was going to be sort of synthy, dancey, electronic, I should bump up the tempo significantly to 120, the good old dance beat, and yeah, I mean there's a few little things that I did differently in this one. There's a bass line in the beginning done with one of the synths that I actually really liked and took and played on the real bass for the final version of the song, along with the stop before the verse comes in after the intro, and the speed, how fast it is. I ended up liking that and sort of kept that in the final one. And I think, oh yeah, I put a synthetic choir in the choruses, and I really liked how that sort of opened it up and gave it a little bit more of a soaring feeling. I kept that in the final version too. And the vocoder, yeah, I put a vocoder also in the chorus, very subtly in there, and I like that too. It was kind of sort of classic 70s sounding, but otherwise this was just for fun and for the class requirements. I wasn't ever going to actually be like, this is the song that I wrote. Next one I'm actually just throwing in for fun because it doesn't really have anything to do with the development of the song all that much. It was just since the earlier demo I'd made was too slow and the other one was a little bit too fast and electronic and weird. When we actually went to record this song in the studio, after we'd played it live and rehearsed it along 7 months or something like that, we needed a demo track to follow along with for when we put the bass and the drums down, so we didn't go off tempo or anything like that. It's a little bit more effective than just a straight up click track, but we had that too. And this was all super rushed as well. Like from the time that we decided to record this album to the time where we actually had all the recordings was maybe a week. I think we had 6 hours of studio time to record the whole thing. So I had to really quickly rush together a demo for this song. So I just went home. Took me about half an hour, recorded everything super fast, didn't bother mixing it at all, and then didn't have a singer. So I sang it myself. And I'm not actually going to let you hear most of it because it's awful and I should never be allowed to sing anything. But yeah, this, I don't know, it's kind of funny. So I thought I'd throw a little snippet of it in there just so that everyone can make fun of me later, I guess. I mean, that's what art's for, right?
She's like a gold mine on a midsummer day. I never thought I'd meet a girl make me feel this way. She's awakened something deep inside. I think I'll take a chance. And if she'll have me, I'll be happy in this modern romance.
So this brings us up to date to the studio version that's on the album. We did the whole thing super fast. I think we had 2 days in the studio between end of midterms and when we all had to stop using the equipment. So we just squeezed in there. This song we recorded for all the songs, bass and drums first, and then we layered the guitars over top and the vocals and then piano where it had to go. So between the 2 days, I'd say we probably spent no more than 45 minutes on this entire song. Yeah, so aside from that, I mean, we have a real proper band here now, not just me doing everything. So we've got Brittany singing. She's does an amazing job. She changed the melodies just ever so slightly in a few spots, but I think it worked a lot better than what I had written before. And Ashley came in here and Brandon, and they brought some life to the guitar parts through real amps that I had just done through the computer, and they sounded pretty dead. And then I think the biggest influence on this song was Anna on keyboards, because the entire chorus synths that go behind, she made up. Because I had something else, some other pattern under there that wasn't really that distinct, and she just kind of made up a thing on the spot, and it was really cool. And I left it in there, and I really like it. So that was pretty cool, seeing all that come together, see everyone else's influence go a little bit. So it wasn't all just me entirely, still mostly was, but, you know, second album, we're doing that differently. Yeah, so I guess song mostly speaks for itself. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's one of my favorites, even though a lot of people who've reviewed the album seem not to be overly appreciative of it. You know? That happens when you make stuff. Not everyone's going to enjoy it. All that matters, for the most part, to me, is that I like it, and I do. And hopefully there's a few other people out there who like it, and then it's not wasted. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this little video insight into how my brain works when I write songs, and a few of the stumbles along the way. And yeah, possibly look out for more of these for some of the other songs if I get around to doing that.